Good evening, everyone, and welcome to North East Non-League Show, episode 30, AFC Newbiggin Special, sponsored by Jade Bell Herd Game 2. And obviously, I'm joining me tonight is Neil Cooper. Neil, thank you very much for coming on the show tonight.
Yeah, no problem. It's been looking forward to it, to tell you the truth.
Excellent.
It'd be
No
nice to
lots
have
to go over, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, yeah. It's been a bit busy to say the least.
Non-stop. But yeah, I mean, the last time we had you on, obviously, we were chatting about Ashton, kind of, I think it was the time the FA Cup run and doing, obviously, your early season and how well we're doing as well. And before we chat about AFC Newbiggin, obviously, you leave Ashton in November after the Bishop game. Was it time for a new challenge at that point for yourself?
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, we'd had a chat a couple of weeks before. Obviously, Robbie had come in, sort of like and Lee Anderson was on about, through different things, leaving and stuff like that. And it was just a footballing decision, really. Ian decided that, he was bringing a new coach in, and just like you say, a footballing decision at the time, and it just happened. It just seemed to be the right time to wish them all the best and move on.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, I mean, when we had them on the show, it was a great start to the season. I know there were so many games to catch up on, obviously, straight away of how well, obviously, the season started. But it was nice to see them, obviously, in the end actually go out, wasn't it?
Oh, it was unbelievable. I mean, say for the club itself and the players, it's a fantastic sort of like thing that they've done. The club with all the people there, Brian the chairman, all the way through the kit man, everybody at the club. It's just what they deserve, to be fair, to go. And they've done it, and they've done it well. I think to go up as champions would be nice. But it's a good way to go, isn't it? The playoffs, it's always exciting, and I think the supporters enjoyed it, to be fair. And they turn out in the hundreds, and it's a fantastic place it was a fantastic place to be at, and a fantastic place to coach at.
Oh, it was a great end to both all Northern League, wasn't it? It was finishing Division 2, Division 1, the playoffs. It was really good to watch from the outside in. Really good.
The playoffs are one of them, isn't it? You love to watch them, but I would hate to be in them.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
But again, massive thank you everyone that's tuning in now. I know we're just starting a little bit late, a couple of technical issues with the sound, but we're getting there now. We all sorted as well. So thank you for joining us tonight as well. Just getting back to obviously late November, you joined Kilmarnock FC as manager. How did you find that your time there?
I enjoyed it. I mean, at the time, I left Ashton, and then I was thinking, what do I do and all this. And to be fair, Newbiggin and Kilmarnock sort of like rang us. I've known Mark Rook in Newbiggin for a number of years. I just felt, go in and help him and stuff like this. And again, it just didn't work out. I think I wanted different things. Whether it was my fault, I tried to change too much too quick. Wanting to look at what I've done all them years ago, Whitley Bay Reserves with a young squad and all this. And he just came to, he rang us one day and we just came to an agreement where it was best to keep our friendship right, to sort of like step on, move on and stuff like that. And again, it's football. Rather than fall out with people, you far better sort of like, shake hands and agree to disagree.
It happens, doesn't it? But like I said, the move then comes to the AFC Newbiggin, and obviously, how did that all come around? I know you mentioned there that we were looking at just after Ashton, but was it just a quick phone call again?
Simon rang us just after Kilmarnock, and he said, he told us all about the project there, and it sounded good, but obviously made the choice to go there. And then, to be fair, he rang us straight away. So I went along, we had a chat, looked at the project that they're after, and he said, he was just looking, basically at my experience to help them out and take it hopefully to the next level. Which it just sounded really good, so jumped at the chance really, finished off the season there, which enjoyed it.
Yeah, like I say, finished 13th to the end, and I mean a number of games under your belt before the end of the season. And obviously, a couple of times as manager, sitting as manager a couple of times. Did you enjoy the ride?
Yeah, I mean, finished 13th. I think to be, Simon, John, and all them, there was, I was a little bit, finishing 13th, but they were quite happy, I think consolidating that the first year in that in the league. It's quite a strong league, so they were happy that they weren't getting relegated. They weren't even in a dogfight. That middle part of the league is very strong. You had the top two, the bottom two, and then the middle part of the league. There was just at one point when I think when I first went in, there was about 15 points between the middle 12 teams, and really tight. So it was a strange one, and it's hard at that level. I think the consistency of getting players there, getting a 16-man squad every week, getting the same players, that's where it's really difficult. Lads work for, obviously there's various reasons why players can't make every week, and you've got to sort of like try your best to get that consistency, and we just didn't get it at the time. We lost a few games, but the last 3 games of the season, they really settled down. We had a bit of a consistent squad. We had a bit of a consistent run against 3 big teams: Independent, against Wallerton, against Alnwick Town, and we've got a couple of draws. Got beat last minute goal up at Wallerton, which we're good at that. But the actual games themselves were competed well, and the lads did really well. So I'll look forward to the new season, hopefully.
Yeah, like I say there, it's important. I think at any level, it could be obviously Northern League, Alliance, even down to kids football. If you can get the same 12, 13 lads in that starting lineup week in, week out, they just gel together. The centre backs work together down the left, down the right. The strikers nowhere off the ball. It just makes things so much better on the field, doesn't it?
It was massive. Like even if you're saying even like 12, 13, it's getting that. I think it's getting the full squad and getting to realise that the lads, even on the bench, that you need them. We had that last game against Alnwick where we only actually had again, we actually didn't turn up. Our first choice keeper didn't show. Bless him, the centre half had to go and goal. Only had 2, so we only ended up with 2 substitutes on the bench, and we're 3-1 up with them after the hour. But knocks and niggles and the lads struggling, and to be fair for Alnwick, they possibly should have won it in the end. We hung on, they equalised in the 91st minute, and that was another 3 minutes after that, and you think, oh, here we go. But we got a 3-3 draw out of a game where, for the first hour, we dominated it. But again, it's that if we'd had 2 or 3 more substitutes on the bench to take lads off who had a little niggles, little pulls, I think we would have won that game. So yeah, I think if you've got a consistent 16-man squad every week, you will go a long way in this league. It would be a long way to help.
No, definitely. Going to have a chat now about the club as well, which I've been looking on social media since you said that you were coming on as well, and some of the plans that are in place kind of going forward looks absolutely amazing as well. So we get on that as well. Again, everyone that's watching, thank you so much as well. I know our new sponsor, DJ Private Hire from Peatley as well, Taxi Service, massive thank you as well, and a massive shout out for them for sponsoring our Facebook group as well. It really does mean a lot. We've got our new setup tonight with the new microphone. I thought it was my microphone that wasn't working the first, Neil, wasn't it? I was panicking, wasn't I? We're getting on to the club itself, and playing out the Northern Alliance League, and you just said how strong it is.
Yeah,
it has been for many years, 4 division, but some cracking teams. And I think you just look at last season, obviously Newcastle Blue Star in the big hopes now stepping up the Northern League. And I think you see now with the pyramid that we've got, clubs want to go on now and see how far they can take things. Obviously, yes, financially they need it as well, but it's massive now for clubs looking up, isn't it?
It is. Looking at the club, and again, it's you just got to look and say like, well, Ashton's done this last couple of weeks, putting out effort, because that they haven't got that benefit. If you've got a benefactor, obviously Blue Star had the money. You look at the way they've done the stadium. You look at the way they've got this team. Basically they had an only 2 team in the Alliance. They did fantastic. Played some great football. You can't take it away from what they did. And we look at Newbiggin, where they're getting the money from, like from the council, from the Newbiggin council, from the FA, stuff like that. The lads there, Simon, you got just Simon, John Messenger, you got Paul Foster, Barry. This is like a 5-year project for them. I've just come in the last 3-4 months, bless them, and this is their, their project. And to look at the ground now and look at the pitch is unbelievable when I've seen it. I went along the other day, and you've got a massive fence around it. You've got possibility. You've got definitely the main pitch and a junior pitch. You've got a training area at the back, which wouldn't do. The goals are going in shortly. All the money that's being spent, it's unbelievable. But again, to go at the next level, you possibly need the sponsors coming in. You need help from the community because, you know, to go up, there's no budget for players, you know. Then are you going to get the Northern League players if there's no budget for it? It is difficult. And then on top of that, you know, the main money comes in again when I look at Ashton from the bar, from the revenue. You know, unfortunately, the bar is owned by the council. You know, so you've got the sports centre bar, which is what we've got to use. So you don't get the revenue in from the bar and everything. So that's the difficult side of it. So it's all through sponsorship and support from the, you know, hopefully get support from the local people coming in through the turnstiles, and moving on from there.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the Facebook page as well, I mean, seeing the first team, the reserves, and the youth team as well, it looks like a real family feel to the club as well.
Yeah, you know, the whole club, you know, you look at the reserves win the league and win the 2 cups last year, and they were thinking about putting the reserves in the alliance, but obviously with the first team being the alliance, it would be like you would have to sign. And what we want is for the players to be able to sign for both the reserves and the first team.
Yeah.
So it's like actually run as a club. So, you know, there's like 2 or 3 lads. Actually, there's, you know, a couple of 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds in there, in the reserves who've done well last year. The goalkeeper Nathan, Adam Angus, one of the forwards. You know, they're only 17-year-old lads, and we're looking to try and get them playing more in the first team. But if we went into the alliance, it would be like having to do 2 separate clubs and transfers and stuff like
that. Yeah.
So so I think it made sense to keep it into that Northumberland League for now, and it's up to us now to get out of this into the Northern League in the next couple of years, and then we can put the reserves into the alliance and build it even better, hopefully.
It's just step by step, isn't it? And that's
it is.
It's exciting to watch.
It's again, it's. I suppose it's mistakes I made. You know, even that couple of months I made at Kilmarnock. You know, went in. Oh, I want this, I want that, and you're saying, nah, maybe I've got to slow it down a bit, and maybe I've got, you know, right. Or, you know, give it a couple of years, and you know, it is hard, and the rules have changed. I know when I was at Whitley Reserves, we had players were signed for both teams, and you go from one. You know, those lads, you know, in the first team would ring you up on a Wednesday night. Oh, you've got a game. Can I play for you on Wednesday night? And you're allowed to do that with them being in the Northern League, and it worked great. You know, and then when Nash at the time, when he was the first team manager, would ring one on the Saturday morning. He needs 2 players to come up to the first team. You would send players up, and I think that's how it's got. There's not many clubs do it that way, but I think if you do it, it really works well.
It's a stepping stone for them youth to come up, isn't it? Which is really important to see what they can do in the first team. And like you say, if you haven't got the transfer on site, it's just that call up that day. You never know, that one player might get a chance, and he could be there for the rest of the season, couldn't he?
But that's it, you know. Like you look at what we did at Whitley Bay. You know, there was, you know, Gav Harrick, who was at Percy Main, now as a manager, I was a coach. And you look at players, you know, you've got like Regan Patterson, Cam Cunningham, all them players who are playing at North Shields. You know, Proctor, you know, Colin Campbell. There's about a dozen players playing Northern League football now who came through that Whitley Bay, you know, and they had time in the first team, then they came back to the reserves and they went up to the first team, and it gives them that something to aim for, and it worked really well. But then you've got to work it together, and sometimes egos come into it, and it doesn't sometimes happen.
And the plans off obviously the field as well looks absolutely amazing. I mean, I don't know what it is. You obviously go on clubs when they're moving stadium or they're getting a new pitch down. Just over the summer when they're putting these plans and putting the little videos and little teaser things on social media, it's absolutely amazing. You'll see kind of the video updates on the pitch as well. But like you say, you've been away from the home ground now for a couple of years. How nice would it be to try and get back in there before the season starts?
But I mean, so we've actually had a session tonight on the Newbiggin welfare pitch, which hasn't been cut yet. It's like Bob Lee, it's you know, like a proper park pitch. I went last week. There was a meeting with the contractors last week, and I had a walk around the pitch. The pitch is just flat. Obviously, at the minute, it needs, like every pitch, it needs water on. But it's unbelievable, you know, just flat. You know, plenty of grass on it. The pitch side barriers hopefully will be going in, and the goals and the dugouts will be going in, so it can actually. We're hoping to get a friendly on before the start of the season, but I think the first game of the season, if we've got a home game, first game of the season, should be on the pitch as well, on the home pitch then. and then we'll move from there. But it's looking unbelievable, really. The dressing rooms are brand new. So you've got four dressing rooms. You've got 2 assistants' dressing rooms. Everything's just there. It's really, it's just all brand new. It's looking really well.
Really good. And sometimes you just need that place, what you call home. It's okay playing in different places every now and again, but you start winning a few games at that ground, you're thinking, hold on, this could be like a fortress, and players get used to playing there. And it's weird what goes through a player's head, but it does happen, doesn't it?
I think the players themselves want to see it and enjoy it, get in there. And then the build up, obviously, plan permissions in for the floodlights, plan permissions in for the stands to go in. So the floodlights are, that new LED floodlights hopefully going in by Christmas. But obviously the planning permissions in there. And as well, just little things like what they've done is there's 6 pylons going in, but the ones going down the middle in between the junior pitch and the senior pitch are back to back. So you can actually shine them onto the junior pitch so we can train there as well. It's really been well thought out, what they've done, and then hopefully by the end of the season, there's planned permission for the, 250-seater stands going outside the dugouts. And you just hopefully move it on from there. And like you say, it's little steps, but it will be massive for the club and massive for the town, hopefully.
Yeah, you say new pitch, over chin rooms, floodlights, and like I say, the 2 stands in, and you kind of, when you got them in place, you kind of then look at the future, and is that kind of now the aim to get into that Northern League as soon as you can?
Me personally, I've been saying, yeah, we'll do it, yeah. I think, especially like John and Barry and them, chairman, that's sort of like saying, well, take our time, we'll just do it the right way. We don't want, it's like watching ones, the last couple of weeks that you've been, and it's right what they say, the lad from Wickham was like, oh, I'm not putting pressure on myself, I'm not, So if I come out and say, yeah, we're going for promotion now, I suppose you're there to be shut off. So I think it's like the next 2-3 seasons, they're definitely looking to push on. I'm not saying we won't apply for, apply for it. If you have a good season, you don't know what's going to happen. So if the facilities are there, it's pointless not applying for it, and then seeing what you can go from there.
Great future. And I mean, just looking at the next season as well now, and we spoke, obviously the last few weeks we had a few different managers on, and they've just kind of said, even since the season's finished, no one gets a break. It's non-stop. The phone's going, you're looking at players. I'd imagine at that level as well, like you say, if there's no budget, you're kind of looking at who is available, who could you improve the score. I mean, has it been like that for yourselves?
It has. I mean, see, I've done bits and pieces, and to be fair, Simon, the manager, he's probably done vast, like I would say 60-70% of it for him. Bless him. We've had, he's had players there. We've had about 20 there tonight. Great turnout. Mixture of sort of like, a couple of experienced players. Very much on the young side, which is what I would like to go with. Very much a young team where you can turn up with a couple of experienced players in there to help them out when the going gets tough. And so it just hasn't stopped. Obviously we've put a session on there tonight, and then 1st of July is the first pre-season friendly. It's what 2-3 weeks away.
Comes around quick, doesn't it?
It's frightening how quick it comes around, isn't it? You do get bored, you get bored of them couple of, what do I do on Saturday? What do I do on Saturday? And then all of a sudden it's here.
But I say the social media, especially like we're speaking to, Andy Bentley last week, and he's, obviously you're seeing on social media, I think there was a couple of teams where they were signing to play every 3 hours on social media and stuff like that over the last kind of 5 or 6 weeks. Crazy, where he just said, I've signed one and that's probably about it. So it was quite boring to say, I'm not even going to be chasing these players. But like you say, at that level, and obviously we're now going back to the home pitch as well. If you're getting the fans turn up, you want to kind of put something on so them fans keep coming back time after time. You have to try and get that built up as well, don't you?
Yeah, I think that's what we've got. You've got to look at sort of like, you're going back to town, you're going back to, you've been playing out the first welfare for the last season, which I don't think people are going to travel to go and watch this level and stuff like that. So if it's just around the corner for them, you've got the sports centre bar there, you've got everything there for them. The facilities are great. It's now up to us to sort of like I suppose, put a show on, and it is an entertainment business in the end of the day. And you've got to sort of like look, if you've got the facilities, you've got to play at them facilities. We've got the pitch there, so hopefully there'll be no excuses for terrible football. Can't blame the pitch up there. Honestly, it's people will be impressed when they see it. So looking forward to it all the time.
Oh, excellent. Like, touch on their pre-season, the game's very shortly coming up, and you see the club's always trying to get kind of a big name coming in. Is any big friendlies lined up, or is it just kind of
we did have the first game was supposed to be Jarrow, Division 2, Northern League Division 2, but they've unfortunately dropped out. So managed to get Morpeth FC in there. The one sort of like Northern League team we've still got, hopefully, and it's fingers crossed we might actually be able to. We have got a book into Hurst Welfare at the minute, but we've got Wrighton at home. And push comes to shove, we're hoping to try and get it on the pitch, on the main pitch at Newbiggin. But it's not sort of like, definite that we can't get it, because it's just going to get signed. The pitch will be signed over in about 2 or 3 weeks, so it's push and go whether we can get it, touch and go whether we can get it on there or not. But I think Wrighton sort of like is the one Northern League team that we've got, and the rest are sort of like a similar sort of level to what we are.
Yeah, and I think it's always good and praise, isn't it, to kind of get them a couple of teams, the high up the pyramid.
Yeah.
Obviously, teams around you, a couple of teams below as well, just get them different standards. Because week by week, it's every different. It's the same in the league, isn't it?
Yeah, ever since I've done it, normally sort of like you say, you have 2 teams from below your level, a couple of teams in the middle, a couple of games in the middle where you want like teams who are above you to really test you. And then then you want teams in around you to finish off, to sort of like get that. Get your shape in to finally, hone it, because you're just going for minutes for the first part of the first couple of games, getting minutes into players, getting, even if you're going with, I've been to games where you've had 22 players, so you're doing 11 for 45 and 11 for the second 45.
Yeah.
But by the last 2 or 3 friendlies, you want to really get your team nailed down, and you're starting to sort of like put an hour into players, an hour and 10 minutes into players, stuff like that. So yeah, the last couple of games, teams at your level, I think we've got a Wearside. I think we're playing Whitburn and stuff like that, a Wearside league, and that's the sort of like standards you want.
That's really good. I mean, just looking at the Lions League as well, and people that's kind of not familiar with the league that might be watching on now. I mean, I'm looking at some cracking teams. In there, can you tell us some of the ones that's to watch next season in your division?
Obviously, I hadn't realised that, because it's just actually come out today that and I hadn't realised. I knew that Stobbswood and Westmore had gone up, but obviously Heaven Town Reserves have gone up as well now. So you've got the 3 new teams going in. I don't think you can go, win the league. Can you go as far as like going past New Fordley? Big strong team that they've always put out, and the 2 of them, like them and Blue Star were way ahead last year, and then obviously behind that you had Wallerton, Percy Main. They sort of like excelled themselves last year. I think they finished 4th last year. Independent, Kilmarnock, they'll be looking to sort of like do better than what they did last year. They won 5 of the last 6 seasons, and coming where they came 9th or 10th last year, I don't think they'll have been happy with that. So they'll be looking to go strong. And then just that middle part, if you go on a run by 5 or 6 games, it just gets you up that league. Again, like I said earlier on, last season it was 2 teams at the top and 2 teams at the bottom, and then the middle bunch were just really close. So it is a strong competitive league. So it comes back to that consistency. If you can get a consistent team going, being consistent on the pitch, you can go a long way.
It should be a very exciting season. I mean, finally, obviously now you've only probably had a few sessions with the lads, and obviously your friendly's coming up, and I mean, you've been talking with your stuff as well. I mean, kind of what's early plans at the minute, but looking at next season, what's your aim for next season and going into it?
Well, obviously maybe me. I was we'll go. But I think they just want to finish 13th last year. I think they're looking to try and consolidate. Try and get into that top 6. Be in the top 6. By Easter next year, you don't know what's going to happen. You're saying even for promotion, how many teams can actually, have got the facilities to go up. Last year it was only Blue Star and Alec put in for promotion from that league. So if we're in around that top 6, top 7, and you don't know what could happen with the pyramid, the way it goes, you could be lucky, and that's just what you've got to aim for. I think just getting in that top 6, looking to be consistent, getting a good run for the next a couple of seasons, and getting the name out there. So players, getting players to travel. Unfortunately, obviously, there's no money, for the budget and whatnot. But getting players to travel at 10, 15 miles, once they see the facilities, I think that will help. And that's the next thing, to get the name out there and get the name of Newbiggin, so players to know it's there, and that we can compete and get into that top 6 of the Alliance League.
Definitely, like you said, just get the name out there, and for everyone that's in the area that's never been along and want to get, what would you message people, the local people of the area?
Just come along, give it a go. Hopefully, hopefully you'll see a good game of football. Well, that league's a very competitive league. We're going to play what I always try and play what they call the right way, but it's what is the right way? Football's just played in many different ways. I don't think there's any such thing as the right way, but it's just entertain. So it's getting the ball forward, looking to score goals, and that's all I can say to people. Just come along and support the club. Have a look at it. Have a look at the facilities, and you'll enjoy your Saturday afternoons there.
Excellent.
And obviously, once the floodlights are there, hopefully midweek games as well, Wednesdays, Friday nights.
Yeah, like you said, just a little bit extra touch under the floodlights, isn't it? Especially the Friday night games. Some of it, especially if Newcastle at home, Burrows at home, Sun or whatever, it just helps them teams around the area playing that Friday night, getting a few extra fans through, and it could make a massive difference.
But that's it. You've got to be that little bit clever. You look at Northumberland teams, you look at Ashton, you look at Morpeth, you look at Blythe, Bedletton. You look at them teams, and they all play on a Tuesday night. So you're saying, right, if we have a midweek game, we play on a Wednesday night. So even if you get them extra 5 or 10 people through, because there are loads of people who say, "Oh, I want to go and see a game tonight," and we might just get that extra few people through the turnstiles.
No, exactly. But no, we wish you the very best of luck for next season. Hopefully, we'll have you on the end of the season talk about possibly that top 6 or even promotion. You never know, do you?
Fingers crossed, yeah. Hopefully, it'll be exciting. It'll be good. Looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it now.
Excellent. But this is what we do the shows for. If anyone that's watching now as well, and obviously in the Facebook group, please get across to the Facebook of AFC Newbiggin and on social media as well. Twitter, give them a follow, give them a like, share the post them, and just that little one share could help get 2 or 3 extra fans through the doors. Then a couple of likes on Facebook, get shared out and the stuff like that. It just helps so much now, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. I wish to thank you as well for allowing us to do this. Just to get this little, these adverts just help the local clubs, and what you're doing is a great job out there.
Oh, thank you. But like you say, we'll get it shared out straight away after the show as well. Very busy this week. Tomorrow night we're back again. Thursday, 9:10, me and Ian Davison going over the Tomb Gospel Show. We're expecting a quiet one, Neil, but obviously after the news tonight, 50 million straight in. But Milan's centre midfielder. It's going to be a busy transfer window, isn't it?
I think it could well be. Like, it's looking forward to it. Actually, I've just come back got back in at 8:30. So I heard a little bit on the radio. So I've never really seen anything yet. I've just getting myself ready for this. So I'll have to go away and have a bit read and see what's been happening. But fingers crossed, it's going to be a good transfer window as well for.
Yeah. Good day to start on, but no, back tomorrow night. But again, everyone that's watched tonight, we really appreciate your support as well. So close now to 900 subscribers. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button as well. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your night also.